The video of his arrival and shooting of Senator Hoffman is truly chilling. Again, it's no exaggeration to say this is the stuff of nightmares.
The man accused of a deadly shooting spree in Minnesota will face federal and state murder charges.
Authorities say Vance Belter wounded a state senator and his wife and then killed a Minnesota representative and her husband Saturday morning. He appeared in federal court this afternoon, but the investigation is far from over. While law enforcement is still investigating a motive, they have confirmed Belter had an apparent hit list with dozens of names. On that list, Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin, among other Democrats and figures tied to Planned Parenthood and abortion rights.
Political violence like this is not just shocking, it's despicable and simply not who we are as a country. We must all come together to condemn this type of hate wherever it exists.
Senator Baldwin's office also released this statement saying, quote, she is grateful for law enforcement's swift action to keep the community safe and remains focused on the things that matter most here, honoring the legacy and life of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Alert day conditions are forecast for Wednesday, and tonight we could see some more of those pop-up showers and storms. Jacob Montesano watching the radar for us. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Susan. Yeah, we're still seeing some of those showers and thunderstorms. Not everyone has seen rain today, but other areas have seen rain pretty heavy at times. And especially areas west of Madison, those are the locations that have seen the most rainfall. And right now we're seeing some showers across Dane County, I should say, mainly to the south of Madison, bringing in some light to moderate rain. Doesn't look like we're seeing any lightning with this, but we have seen a few thunderstorms roll through the southwestern portion of Wisconsin as well. The storm that just passed through the southern portion of Platteville is really dissipated and is now just a light shower. Now, for the overnight hours, we'll see a few of these kind of pop up during the evening, but once we get later in the night, we'll see some storms roll into our area from the northwest, bringing some severe weather near La Crosse and areas further northwest of that. But the severe weather looks to dissipate as it moves into southern Wisconsin, but we're still going to see some scattered showers, especially from around that 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. time frame. And as we get towards Tuesday morning, still could see some light rain, but not as much. However, there's plenty of more chances of showers and thunderstorms later this week. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Today marks 6 months since the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in Madison. That shooting claimed the lives of Aaron West of DeForest, a teacher at the school, and Ruby Vergara, a student. 6 others were injured, and 1 is still in critical condition. On December 16th at 10:57 a.m., a second-grade teacher called 911 to report the shooting. At 11:05, officers arrived at the school and found the shooter dead. In the following days, police recovered 21 shell casings, boxes of ammunition, a cardboard model of the school with a plan titled, quote, "Ready for Death." On May 8th, Jeffrey Ruppnow, the father of the shooter, was charged with 2 counts of supplying a dangerous weapon to a minor and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The ATF and FBI continue to investigate the shooter's connections to a mass shooting plot and an arrest in Florida, as well as other shooters and extremist content on social media.
Next at 5, multiple agencies report crypto scams that have skyrocketed in recent years due to crypto ATMs. AARP Wisconsin says those crypto kiosks are popping up all over the state, and that's caused some problems for many Wisconsinites. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us with what steps are being taken to protect consumers.
Cryptocurrency is an industry with little regulation, and an influx of Bitcoin ATMs or BTMs has forced state agencies to step in to better protect Wisconsinites. Crypto kiosks or ATMs are still relatively new, and for that reason, they have been largely unregulated.
Anywhere that you would maybe see like a normal bank ATM, you might see one of these crypto ATMs as well.
In a new report, the FBI says from 2023 to 2024, they saw a 99% increase in complaints filed about crypto scams, with a 31% increase in financial losses.
With the scams that we see a lot of the time, it's stuff where like people are contacted and they're told, you know, you were supposed to have jury duty, you didn't show up, now you have to pay this fine, like law enforcement is gonna come get you, whatever. And then people are sent to these crypto ATMs to send money, deposit cash, it gets sent to somebody's crypto wallet.
The State Department of Financial Institutions has provided new guidelines for crypto ATM operators. They now have to limit transactions to $2,000 a day per customer, post a warning in front of their crypto ATM, and maintain anti-fraud policies and procedures.
In terms of like finding these people and making it right, it's incredibly difficult because cryptocurrency, you can be largely anonymous, so you don't know really who you're sending the money to, and they could use that wallet for one transaction and then just create a new wallet for their next one.
Operators must also disclose exactly where their BTMs are located. For now, reporting in the newsroom, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. You can find more information at aarp.org/Wisconsin.
The Dodge County Sheriff's Office has released the name of the man who died at Ledge County Park. Deputies say 21-year-old Felix Mata Eusebio of Mayville fell 40 feet, sustaining a fatal head injury. Just after noon on Saturday, the man was with two other people and stopped to take a photo on top of a rocky ledge. Investigators believe alcohol was a factor in this incident.
Dane County issues an alert for a scam targeting those with pending zoning and land use applications before the Zoning and Land Regulation Committee. Now, last week, some applicants and agents for the June 10th meeting received emails claiming to be from the Dane County Planning Commission. They were told immediately about the scam. A takedown notice is being issued to disrupt the source of the fake emails, and applicants for the June 24th meeting are being warned.
The Supreme Court has agreed to hear arguments over whether states may subpoena faith-based pregnancy centers. First Choice Women's Resource Centers run 5 crisis pregnancy centers in the state of New Jersey. The nonprofit is fighting a subpoena from New Jersey's Democratic Attorney General in 2023 as part of an investigation into whether it violated consumer fraud laws. In addition, the Supreme Court threw out a decision by a New York court that had required religious groups to cover abortions in their health insurance plans.
The CDC issues a salmonella outbreak alert for Emmick brand pistachio cream, a food product like butter. As of June 13th, 3 cases have been reported in Minnesota and 1 in New Jersey. 1 person was hospitalized. The FDA is investigating the scope of the affected products, which have a use-by date of October 19th, 2026.
More millennials are falling into debt. That's according to one of the nation's leading nonprofit credit counseling agencies. But the data also shows they are more likely to do something that other generations typically aren't. Faced with rising rent, ballooning interest rates, and stuck with student loans, millennials, that's the generation born between 1981 and 1995, are now the ones most asking for help to dig out of credit card debt.
I will say the positive thing about millennials is they are willing to take action. They actually turn out to be the most receptive to financial counseling.
While millennials are more likely to carry debt than other generations were at the same age, a study last year by finance site LendingTree found that that age group is still in an overall better financial position than their counterparts were at that age, particularly when it comes to net worth, assets, income, and spending.
Popular home goods retailer At Home has filed for bankruptcy. The Dallas-based company cites tariff increases and a slowdown in consumer spending as reasons for its Chapter 11 filing. At Home announced it's agreed to a deal with its lenders that will eliminate substantially all of its roughly $2 billion in debt. At Home has 260 stores in 40 states. Wauwatosa, the only Wisconsin location set for the first wave of closures. Now, we reached out to both Madison stores, and they are not currently aware of any upcoming changes to operations. Public Health Madison-Dane County fighting mosquitoes one area at a time. Every weekday from now through Labor Day, public health crews will inspect ponds and ditches for mosquito larvae. And if they find larvae with potential of carrying West Nile virus, that site will be treated with larvicide. You're looking at their new mosquito dashboard as well. It offers weekly updates with a real look at mosquito hotspots and treatments in your area. It's on the Public Health Madison-Dane County website.
The city of Madison will not collect trash, recycling, or large items this Thursday in observance of Juneteenth. Thursday pickups will move to Friday, so have your carts out by 6:30 a.m. Friday to avoid delays. Drop-off sites will also be closed closed on Thursday and reopening on Friday during regular hours. For more information, visit cityofmadison.com/streets.
Well, stay with us. Your complete First Warn forecast is next at 5.
And a swap by the Milwaukee Police Department involving mugshots and facial recognition technology is drawing some criticism. We'll have that story just ahead.
Strong start of the week on Wall Street. The Dow surges more than 317 points. The NASDAQ climbs 294. S&P 500 adds 56. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Madison police say 15,000 people marched in Saturday's No Kings protest in downtown Madison. Officers say protesters pointed out 3 people for vandalizing the law enforcement memorial. Around the country, hundreds of protests unfolded with millions joining. Washington, D.C. reported roughly 50,000 people participating. In Atlanta, some clashes were reported between protesters and police, as well as sit-ins in Los Angeles. Downtown roads in Madison reopened at around 5 on Saturday.
President Trump has ordered immigration and customs enforcement agents to do everything in their power to carry out what he calls the single largest mass deportation program in history. The president made that announcement on social media overnight as he was traveling on Air Force One to Canada for the G7 summit. The president also ordered ICE to expand its efforts in what he called the Democratic Power Center. Cities such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where President Trump says millions and millions of illegal immigrants live.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is investigating a parking lot shooting that happened just after midnight in Johnson Creek. Deputies say that followed an argument between 2 people. While shots were fired, no injuries were reported. The suspect fled the scene, but 2 people are now in custody. Authorities confirmed this was an isolated incident and say there is no ongoing threat to the public.
Over 150,000 gallons were needed to put out a Janesville landfill fire yesterday afternoon. An acre of trash and rubbish was heavily involved when crews arrived. 24 firefighters from local and neighboring departments responded to get things under control. Fire officials say that off-duty firefighters, police, and landfill staff helped as well. No injuries were reported. The cause remains unclear at the moment.
The Milwaukee Police Department is considering trading 2.5 million mugshots for free facial recognition software from the company Biometrica. The deal would give Milwaukee police 2 software licenses, but 11 of the city's 15 alders strongly oppose the plan, citing civil liberty and privacy concerns. Critics worry the tech could aid federal surveillance and lacks oversight. Police say it won't use the software for arrests, only for investigative leads. The Equal Rights Commission will discuss the proposal on Wednesday.
Full look now at your First Warn forecast. Jacob rejoins us now with a complete story.
Thanks, Eric. As we take a look at the 3 things you need to know, we are going to see nearly daily chances of some thunderstorms. And Wednesday specifically, that's when we're going to see the most rainfall, possibly 1 to 3 inches of rain on Wednesday. And as far as temperatures, they're going to be warm this week, but they're especially going to be warm once we get to the weekend. Now, for Wednesday, we do have an alert in the forecast due to the heavy rain and a few strong storms. This is going to be for all of southern Wisconsin, but we also could see some severe weather tonight and tomorrow as well. So let's take a look at the severe weather outlook for the next couple of days. Tonight, marginal risk for Madison in areas to the west and northwest. Those storms are going to dissipate a little bit as they move into southern Wisconsin, but still going to produce some rain for our area. And then for tomorrow, another marginal risk, this time for just about everybody, but it looks like the best chance of storms will be south of Madison, and another marginal risk for Wednesday. Now, although parts of the western portion of our area aren't under the marginal risk, we're still going to see widespread rain for just about everybody. Best chance of severe weather will be in southeastern Wisconsin for Wednesday. So let's take a look at the rainfall forecast. Could see a few isolated showers and storms this evening, but once we get to the overnight hours, we'll see a little bit more consistent rain move back into the area. Again, it will come from the northwest, and areas west and north will have the best chance to see that rainfall. But then it's going to clear out mostly once we get closer to sunrise Tuesday. Still could see some of these isolated showers and storms, but the rain won't won't be super consistent. That's going to continue for the first half of Tuesday. But once we get towards the late afternoon, evening, we'll see a line of these showers and thunderstorms move through, likely bringing heavy rainfall and the minor chance of severe weather like I talked about. But it's not going to last too long. Should clear out of the area fairly quickly. Could see some rain on the back end of it. So it may initially bring a lot of rainfall, but it's not going to last for, the entire day like what we are expecting for Wednesday. So fast forwarding towards Wednesday, we'll see some rain move in early, and it's going to stick around for much of the day and into the evening. Could produce some severe weather, but we're not as concerned about the severe weather risk simply because there's just a lot of rainfall. And usually when you get a lot of rainfall like that kind of covers the area all day, the severe weather risk kind of diminishes. The best chance of severe weather is usually when you have these hot, sunny days where you see those storms move in later. Kind of like today, although today the severe weather never really develops. Now, as we get into Wednesday night, that will clear out, but we still have some smaller chances of rain for Thursday and Friday. Now, as we look at the overall precipitation that is expected, obviously this will change a little bit depending on where some of those stronger storms form, but our entire area is in the ballpark of around 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and this is definitely some much needed rainfall. And it's not too uncommon to see this amount of rainfall this time of the year because this is the rainiest time of the year in general. Now, I also want to talk about the temperatures. Highs will be in the lower 80s to upper 70s for the rest of the work week. But look at the weekend, upper 80s to lower 90s. And that's going to continue for Monday as well. And we're also going to be fairly dry during that period. So the sun's going to be shining, and it's really going to feel like summer during that time frame. Now, when the rain moves back into the area for the middle of next week, temperatures will drop a little bit, but we're likely going to see the warmest day of the year, if not the first 90-degree day of the year over the weekend.
Yeah, first 90 in your extended forecast. Jacob, thank you. Coming up at 5, an update on the mounting casualties in the conflict between Iran and Israel and the impact it could have on the U.S. here in the U.S. That's just ahead.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
Israel's prime minister says its air force now controls the skies over Tehran as a 4-day conflict with Iran escalates.
Well, the Israeli Defense Forces warned of strikes in densely populated areas of the Iranian capital, urging civilians to evacuate.
Iran reports at least 224 people killed, mostly civilians, while Israeli officials say 24 have died from Iranian missile attacks.
And both nations vow further retaliation as explosions and airstrikes continue. Nick Patton-Walsh reports.
Screams echo across the ordinary streets of Tehran. The horrors in Iran are harder to find video of, but it's hard to watch when you do. A deputy foreign minister posting this damage to his ministry. Several civilians injured, he said. Israel's defense minister clarified Monday he meant no harm to Tehran's residents when he said earlier the city would burn unless Iran's missiles stop. But many have seen flames already and are fleeing the capital. Nothing like this before in their lifetimes. In the western city of Kermanshah, state media posted images of the intensive care unit of a hospital damaged. The IDF told CNN they were, quote, not aware of any attack that happened on a hospital in Iran, end quote, and it's unclear if anyone was hurt. But numbers Iran's health ministry have given speak of just how wide-scale the Israeli onslaught has been. Over 200 dead, 90% civilians since Friday, they said. But each number, its own story. Many from the youth that the West sees as the hope for Iran's post-Ayatollah future. This is Tara Hajmiri, dancing at the dentist, killed alongside her family, said state media. Also, Nilufar Galevand, big in gyms and social media, aged 31, killed alongside her parents. And Pania Abbasi, a poet, aged 23, killed with her parents and brother. Her poem, The Extinguished Star, reads, "You and I will come to an end, somewhere. The most beautiful poem in the world falls quiet."
And as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies, experts say Americans could feel it at the pump. An analyst for Gas Buddy predicts prices could rise by more than 30 cents a gallon by July 4th. Due to the skyrocketing cost of oil, some oil infrastructure does appear damaged as the two sides exchange strikes. Haifa is home to Israel's largest refinery and it was a target overnight. Iran, one of the top oil producers in the world. Experts say gas prices would rise much more if Iran stemmed the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. And we'll have a final check of your First One forecast after a short break.
Communities in need of funding to prevent storm damage are facing unexpected cuts. How plans have been upended in one Louisiana town. And in tonight's Eye on America, we go to Detroit, where police are solving decades-old crimes with a new approach. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up tonight at 6, we learn more about the killing of 2 lawmakers and the injuring of 2 others. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin was reportedly on the shooter's hit list. We'll have more reaction from the senator's office at the top of the hour.
Well, Governor Tony Evers has officially declared today, June 16th, as Quick Trip Day across Wisconsin. It's to celebrate the beloved convenience store chain's 60th anniversary. Founded in Eau Claire back in 1965, Quick Trip now boasts nearly 900 locations. It serves 12 million guests every week and employs about 38,000 people. Known for its glazers, donuts, and community support, and much more. The company continues to expand, adding a new distribution center in DeForest this year. Everybody loves Quick Trip.
That's true.
That's the one thing my son, when he went away for college, he missed Quick Trip more than just about anything. All right, final check of the forecast.
Yeah, a lot of chances of storms over the next couple of days. It's kind of started today. It's going to continue tonight. And then for tomorrow, we're going to see another chance of storms. Wednesday storms are very likely, but the good news is that we're continuing to not expect a lot of severe weather. Still a small chance, but we're not going to see a lot. But the alert day is in the forecast simply for the heavy rain that's expected most of the day. Storm chances then continue for Thursday and Friday, and then the weekend. Very summer-like, and it's also looking fairly dry at that period. So it's going to be pretty warm with the sun shining in, the highs near 90. Those that want to see the summer-like temperatures, you're going to get them next weekend for sure.
Here it is. Yep. Thanks,
All right,
Jacob.
CBS Evening News is coming up next. We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000 Plus.